Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you quite well. Yes, that's correct. That's
Yeah.
fine. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we just got cut off. I mean, yeah. Hey, Astra, welcome. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hey.
Oh, talking to
Yeah.
me.
Oh no, I was just saying hi to both of you.
I
Yeah,
was
you can hear me, right? You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. My name is Astra. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you too. Sorry, I zoned out there. I thought he was talking to me. Not. Sorry about that. What a way to start off meeting people, hey? But yeah, I'm. Uh, well, I don't think near band's probably told you much about me, but I do complain quite a lot. So get ready.
Well, thank you for the warning.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of do too about certain choices issues. So,
Sure.
like there's
Yeah.
some stuff that still kind of irks me, like the LGBT representation issue. That's the stuff that kind of bothers me. But yeah, I tend to be the same too with certain things.
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear loads of clicking here, you guys. I'm trying to find a screenshot I found of something on my computer. Sorry. Right. I'll try and be
You
quick
know.
as I can.
Okay.
Oh no.
So
On my phone.
that sounds interesting. Okay, so we did have a topic for today, and mainly you're going to play the imposter game. I know Astra, she prepared it well, and I think one of her friend also helped her because that friend had some ideas she told me about, and Mac did prepare. I kind of have some ideas about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're first going to chat about some stuff like the cancellation, or not the cancellation, but the delay of Blades of Light and Shadow, and some stuff like the representation of love interest and plus size characters, and then we're going to disconnect the call because there are disturbance, a lot disturbance we have noticed after past 1 hour, and then we're going to join again and then play the imposter game. So we're going to divide the podcast into two parts. First part is going to be for the chatting, discussing of the issues, and then we're going to disconnect, and then second part we're going to join to play the imposter game. All right,
Yeah,
does
it's
that
okay.
sound good?
So, yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your idea was it. It was, and I think it could work taming down that disturbance that happens past 1 hour.
Yeah, because I remember last time it seemed to make a difference. So hopefully it also does that this time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would, I guess. It would. Yeah. All right, so let's jump into then. I guess both of you, I talked with both of you, and both of you brought up some good points about, let's at first talk about the delay, the new block, not the block post, the December, and the bombshell of a news that Charles dropped. They said earlier that 2021 when Bolus 2 will be coming out, but then I think at the end of 2020 they said it needs more time and it would be coming out earlier 2022, and then now they're saying it has, it needs more time and it will not be coming out this year, so it will be 2023. And so what are your thoughts on this? I know you had some pretty good theories, like what could be affecting these decisions. So yeah, I would love to hear
Yeah,
that.
I mean, do you want to go first?
Hmm.
I'll go like
No,
right
I'll,
after.
I'll let
I
you
do,
go
I
first.
do
Sorry.
have I have some thoughts about it, but yeah, just let me know.
I'm sorry, what?
So, like the one thing I noticed about I'm sure we've all already seen this, but with Pixelberry, they've had several series that were on hold. Like the sequels were on hold for several years already.
Hmm.
Most Wanted, Hero,
Hmm.
Ride or Die was also a sequel that was on hold. I believe there's other ones that I probably didn't mention, and we never really ever got a definite answer about them. All we were told was that we need more time and that the writers for certain series left, or that we need more resources, or the actual artist who made artist style needed for that book, like for Hero, for example. And there didn't really seem to be any definite answers to any of our questions, to any fans' questions about these promised sequels. So suddenly, Pixelberry comes out this year with their big statement, like as if they finally decided that they're not going to be doing all of these sequels that we were all waiting for. And it's the same type of behavior that I'm seeing now, because first we're being told, okay, it has to be delayed and it's not going to be in 2021. And now Blades of Light and Shadow is not going to be released probably in 2022. I'm seeing a pattern, and because there's not really much, they're not giving definite answers. So I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to be releasing it. I think that there's probably a budget issue, and Pixelberry may probably opt to just release a plot book that also has a lot of steamy elements in it, because that seems to be a very popular thing now. So not just like a steamy book only, but like, you know how that there are books that are both steamy and plot based. I think if what Pixelberry might do is that they might cancel Blades of Light and Shadow too, to release a book like that.
That's an interesting take. I mean, I can see that happening, and I would agree with that. And that pattern definitely has been there since May or April 2020. Since then, Choices is sort of going this route. And in 2021, earlier, like you said, they canceled all those books all of a sudden when they kept us on the loop. Like it will be released, it will be released. So yeah, I would say that that's something.
You know, I don't think I would not want to abandon Pixelberry just because if they do end up canceling Blades of Light and Shadow 2, but I am going to be disappointed because it is one of those rare books that they have that doesn't seem to be steamy based, or it's kind of like a purely adventure or RPG type of
Yeah.
game. It's very fun. It's a
RPG.
different experience. Yeah, it reminds
Yeah.
me of like my favorite choices book ever is The Crown and the Flame, and although it's not as good as that in my opinion, it's still something that's good enough.
I would agree. It's RPG and it doesn't feel like a story RPG, but it actually feels like a real RPG gaming choices. It's like you have side quests and all those stuff, and even like the storytelling. It's really interesting. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a new Amazon series out, The Wheel of Time, and there's a Dragon Prince. So people say these are really similar to this book, this story, and they just released recently that those stories or those series. And the story was released in 2020, so you can see how good and unique the plot is here, and the time zone also. Like with the setting of the story and all the races and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely something unique and not nothing not and it's not like all the average books choices release. It definitely stands separate.
Yes, exactly. And I care about Pixelberry releasing books that stand out, because I mean right now there's definitely a big shift on what is being released. It, Overall, there's more steamy content, even if it's not a 100% steamy book. It's a steamy and plot-based book, and there's more of that than just plot-based only at the moment.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Okay, Mac, what's your take? I know you also had some theories about that.
Yeah, I just clicked off my bloody thing as well. To get, sorry about that. Click on it. Sorry about this. Goods.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
it's like Astra said. I'm not just gonna not disown. That's the wrong word. I'm not just gonna not play choices just because they're doing stuff like this. But it is gonna get to a point where I'll stop buying VIP. I mean, I just. I talked to you about this, didn't I, Nearby, another day, and I was that. I'm really speechless. But it's just, it. What?
Oh no, no, no. I was gonna say, by the way, you pronounced my name really well. No, go on.
Yeah. Um, I forgot what I was going to say now.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
to me, if about this, it's just yeah, that's it. Sorry, the cancelling, not cancelling, but the. Do you know what? I am so sorry for this. I am so
Delay.
flabbergasted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the delay. Yeah.
yeah. It annoys me because they're bringing out books like Princess Swap and like stuff like that. It's like, why do we need another books like that? Why do we need like all these stupid, smutty books? I mean, yes, if that's what people into, I'm not going to not like question their opinion, but like
Hmm.
to me, like I said it to you the other day on a private message, didn't I? I said, look, just sex
Yeah.
sells. I mean, this is the way they're going to go. This is the way they're going to go. I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh, do you know, I'm just speechless about it, to be honest with you. I just am so angry.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
I understand because the thing is the earlier fan base for Choice is different than what it is now, and
Oh yeah. Definitely.
looks like the newer addition to the fan base is the one that prefers those types of books like Surrender, and will probably also be Crimes of Passion because when I saw the announcement on the Pixelberry official page on Instagram, it says that one of the genres is sexy, so it sounds like it's probably going to be, like one of those steamy. So it's going to be in the
Hmm.
steamy book category in the app.
Yeah.
So that's
But
what I'm thinking is going to be more of part of the app, but it means that the app rating is probably going to go up in app stores, in my opinion. I don't know. It might not, but it looks like Pixelberry is definitely moving towards a more mature route for most of their stories now. And
yeah.
even if they're not going to completely abandon the plot based only, but they will still be keep going in that direction just because they have a lot of new fans that do like steamy content.
Hmm.
I prefer a balance, and I'm still playing Surrender anyway. But I'm just hoping that Pixelberry can still, if they're releasing these types of stories, that they can still put their own spin to it and still make it unique or worth it.
Yeah. I mean, books like you mentioned about Crimes of Passion, and it also says 17 plus and steamy or sexy. But the thing with Crimes of Passion is that this, like, I feel like Crimes of Passion would be just like the Heist Monaco or Perfect Match. I mean, in Perfect Match and Heist Monaco, at the end, we got to hook up with almost every character there, or that was, romanceable there. But there was also a very good plot. It was not something like that throughout the book we hooked up with everyone, but at the end we got some hookups. But also in different parts you also get some hookups and steamy scenes, but you also have a good plot. So when we have a blending of plot and steamy scenes, then I think that book generally works really well. And Crimes of Passion, I think it's going to be that way. It will have kind of a forbiddenness, and what we had in the Nanny Affair or Surrender, like that boss and employer employee relationship, or in Ethan and main character in Open Heart or Gabe. So that pattern will some how will be there, I guess, and maybe it's going to be one love interest book. But now, as Andrew has joined that, and like Heist Monaco and other books, I think there will be mystery too, but there will be a really unique blending plot plus steaminess, and it is not going to be just steamy book, but there's going to be a really nice plot, and this time it's mystery. So more books like Crimes of Passion, I think people will like it. Like people who like mystery, they will also like it, and you can occasionally get steamy scenes also. So people who are craving for steamy books, they will also like it. But this is a good blend in, but sometimes I think maybe the silent majority we were talking about last time, they don't really like books like Crimes of Passion either. I mean, they just want the plot to be also steamy, perhaps. Yeah, I will have to see the success of, or how this book, Crimes of Passion, fares, will determine how choices will be doing their stuff in 2022 perhaps. I have a really interesting stat to tell you guys but later, but this is how I see it and I agree with you. There is a shift in demographic of choices readers, and the money is in the books like The Nanny Affair or Surrender.
Hmm. And when you were talking about Crimes of Passion and comparing it to the heist in Monaco, it kind of reminded me of something. It's like, for example, in the Steamy book section category and choices in the app, you know how there's several books, they're at different levels. So the Nanny Affair is probably like level one. Um, and then the Heist Monaco obviously had some steamy scenes, so it's probably like in the middle. So maybe Crimes of Passion will also be one of those kinds of books that aren't like too steamy, but it's still part of the plot.
Yeah.
Because I definitely see how that in that section or of those types of stories, there's different levels of steaminess. Like some of them rely on it more than the plot itself. So I'm thinking also, like you, that Crimes of Passion is going to have a good balance, and that they're going to have a storyline that's actually worth it.
Let's hope so. I mean, yeah, it's. I have high hopes because the writer is Andrew, who's also the writer of Blades of Light and Shadow, Veil of Secrets, Endless Summer. Also he joined the hero part. So yeah, I have really high hopes for this book. I mean, Andrew never lets us down as far as we have read his works. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I didn't even know that. I found out that one of the writers for Blades of Light and Shadow was Andrew, and I started like reading up on him, and apparently like he puts out perfect choices books, very good at fantasy writing. So I'm also very looking forward to that book as well. I have a lot of high hopes for it, just like I did for even the other VIP books that came out this year. They did much better than I thought they would.
100%. And also, speaking of hero, and like, earlier you're talking about the cancellation of hero, like or choices. Like, choices, they're now saying this book needs more time. We're talking about Blades, but I have a list of what they did with Hero. At first, they said the same thing, that it has very distinct art style and it will need more time. And the exact same thing for Blades of Light and Shadow. And also, one thing is that they even said about Hero, they have the story written. So it's not like the book two was not, there were not writers. At first, they said the writer was not there. Then they said Andrew joined the team. And then they said the book is playable and the story is complete. We just need to work on the artwork, and they suddenly then cancel it. So I just wonder what happens. The two things. First of all, if the story was complete, then what happened with it? And I think Hero is the one and only book in choices that is incomplete because it's no way complete. Any book, Ride or Die, I think it's still complete in one way or the other. And any other book you mentioned, Most Wanted, is somehow completed, but Hero is the most incomplete book in choices because it leaves us on a cliffhanger. I think, like you said earlier, you do, that there needs to be a clear messaging because if they give us mixed signals, like I said, it's really hard to trust them what they're going to do next. And also, the Nanny Affair will be getting its third book this year, next year. So how come a second book for Blades of Light and Shadow is not coming out? So I think I would have understood that, yeah, it takes time, but sometimes they ask for time from us and then they cancel it anyway. So this is really hard to swallow sometimes. I mean, I understood what choices their Max tried to say, the CEO, why they canceled those books, because they said America's Most Legible and Draw Romance, those are popular books. I understood that, but if it keeps on happening, then it's kind of hard to understand like what is happening actually. And they're releasing a bunch of books like the same kind of books, and when it comes to uniqueness or Blades of Light and Shadow, then it would be really disappointing for our also the clarity that should be there between a company and its us, that will also be, that trust will be breached.
Yeah, actually, it seems like now not only us, but a lot of Choices fans have kind of caught up on the fact that Pixelberry's not very forthcoming about whether or not they're going to continue with the sequel. So as soon as I heard about this announcement for Blades of Light and Shadow 2, I'm not saying I hope it gets canceled, but I have a feeling that it might be because of resources and because that book was not really the most. There was an update in the Choices app. It was there only for a short amount of time, but there was an update that showed you how many readers were per book, and obviously, as expected, the Royal Romance was like one of the top 10. I believe Baby Bump was also listed as the top 10. America's Most Eligible, and several other really popular books. In fact, even Ride or Die had a very had a lot of it had a big audience. But the thing was, Blades of Light and Shadow didn't. It seemed like it was actually a lot less than those other books. So even though it's a very high quality book, it probably doesn't have as much readers as the books like the Nanny Affair does. And maybe this could be a factor in Pixelberry ultimately canceling the second one.
Yeah.
That could happen, and that would be pretty sad, I would say, because I liked Blades. I was waiting for book two, and that would be a disastrous. But I am thinking like they would delay it if they're going to cancel it. I don't think they will cancel it anytime soon. They will keep us on the loop for a couple of more years, and then they will cancel it perhaps because the backlash should be so hard on social media.
Definitely. If I don't know, for now, I'm just gonna believe Pixelberry. I'll just believe that because of the global health crisis and their budgeting needs, that they really do need a book. So I'll just give them that for now. But if I see one more announcement about another delay, then then the probability of that book being released is just probably going to be a lot lower than I thought earlier. So we'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell on that, that's for sure. Mac, any words on that?
No, I don't, and I'm trying to hold off. I was talking about you. I mean, obviously, I don't think we're talking about Surrender anymore, but like, it just shocks me that they bring books out like Surrender. I mean, I know there's going to be bloody, what was it we were saying the other day? The respect police will be coming around saying, "Oh, sorry, you can't. If you don't like the book, don't read it." I don't care. The way this book Surrender's gone so far. I mean, there's the reasons why I'm irked about it, which I told you in Urban, didn't I? Which
Yeah, definitely.
was just.
Uh,
But with
you're
some
on fire.
people, you can't say anything because you're not allowed an opinion, which I got told I'm not allowed one. So,
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
interested to hear. What do you think of? So you're actually currently playing Surrender as well. I played all 4 chapters right now.
I'm just. I've not even read it. To be honest with you both, I've not really been reading choices. Only for probably Wake the Dead and reading some of the actually good books where they did actually care about nothing but like they had good plot, like It Lives Beneath and just stuff like that. Wouldn't you? Do I tell you what happened? No, I'm not. That's a bit too personal. But the reason it's, I mean, what's amazing me most about Surrender is it's like
yeah.
he's our lawyer and he cares more about like what he's going to do to us than actually helping us. And it's like, do I consent there? Do I consent to you sending me stuff like this? Do I want you to necessarily? No, I don't. And what else annoys me about Surrender is like you can't actually customize the main character too much. And I know there'll be people out there saying, yeah, but you can customize love interest. That's not the point. I just honestly, Surrender is the biggest joke of a book they'll ever read. I mean, we were talking about this, wasn't we, the other day as well, saying that it's the amount of hate this book's got, and it's unbelievable that they'd even think to bring something out like this. If you don't know about something, don't bloody release it, because it's not represented. Whatever that word is. Sorry, I'm getting a bit angry now. It's not represent. Oh, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. It's this subject actually makes me want to absolutely smash my computer screen at the moment. It's
Really?
listen. I'll try and, from my perspective, and then you two can ramble on. I don't mean that nastily, but I went through something similar about consent. Let's just put it that way. And it just irks me that would bring a book out like this. I mean, don't get me wrong. For me, the reason I'm so angry, probably angrier than anybody else, is because I came to Joyce's because of a personal issue in my life. And Surrender has brought that back up. And it's like, come on. I'm absolutely angry right now with Choices. The way you even think to bring a book out like this when he's not even researched it. So why should you write about it? I'll simplify it. Sex sells, and that's all I'll say. I'm just absolutely done with Choices at bringing a book out like this. But like we said in the event, I can't say this personally, mate, because I got told I'm not allowed an opinion. So I'm just absolutely done. And if people want to come at me, and sorry about that to interrupt. If people want to come at me saying, "Well, don't read the book," that's not the point. I come from Choices to get through something personal in my life, and bringing books out like this. I mean, come on, man. I mean, in here, man. Look, get this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make light of a bad situation here, or whatever. If I was your lawyer and I said to you, "Oh, have you been a good girl today, or a bad boy?" Do you know what I mean? Would you be honestly? Would you be offended?
Of course I would.
Come on, man. I mean, it's making
I would
me
be
cry.
horrified.
It's making me cry this because of how personal it is to me. Not in a good way, that is, but it's just. I think what else is annoying me is I actually pay to read books like this. What? And it's like, if I pay for something, I can have an opinion on that. Thank you very much.
Of course. Capitalism. You can have opinion. I mean, you are. It's basically commodity, and you are getting the commodity, so you can give feedback about the commodity. That's like whether you like it or not.
Yep. Well, I'm not allowed to say anything, am I?
You are. Definitely, you are.
But,
your opinions are very valid. It sounds like for you, certain types of books, you would have preferred not to be released because Choices, even like you, it's personal to me because it helped me deal with my boredness. Last year, when all of these public places started getting shut down in my area, so it helped me and it brought a lot of joy to my life. Like I think my life is great, but Choices makes it even better. So to see books like Surrender, I'm gonna hold my judgment right now, but so far it's a bit cringy because you have a lawyer who's like literally making moves on you, and it's basically just part of the story. And I don't know how I feel about that yet because it's not even as subtle as Queen Bee, or it's probably like on the same level Sam Dalton from the Nanny Affair.
Sam respects our main character. I mean, at least in book one, he or she they respected the main character way better than the lawyer because even when Robin was flirting with our main character, Sam said on the limo like, "If someone crosses the limit, you tell me, even if it's me." So that was, I think, a thing they did. And in book two, they just went on with hookup and hookup rot again and again, and then they kind of messed it up there. But in book one solely, I would say Sam was a far better love interest than most of the dominating love interests in Choices.
Good point. Yeah, that is true. At least there was the respect part.
Definitely. And yeah, the BDSM community. I mean, Mac shared a tweet I saw, and also there are various other messages I've seen. Like, the BDSM community they don't think that it's the right representation of the BDSM, and like they said, some vanilla people they get the wrong idea from this, and they take this excuse to like assault people, and people can even die. The way, and it's not the right message and the right way of doing BDSM. Now, look, I don't know like what this thing is all about, but it's just from what's coming from the BDSM community. That's what they're saying. They're also referencing some good BDSM books from Lovestruck and other books, app stores, but they're saying it's just not the right representation of the BDSM community. Now, that's all like what I have seen personally, but like I said, I really can't tell ultimately because I don't belong from the community. But people who belong from the community, they have problem. So I like we have already discussed, choices do represent communities really well. Like whether it's female or LGBT community, men, different. Like they did good job with love interest, chest hairs and stuff. And then other transgenders and blacks and other communities, be it brown, Indian, any other like Middle Eastern, they do a good job. So maybe something went down there. We'll have to see what played the factor. Was it because they just to give people something so that they would pay for, and they just went after it blindly? So there's a lot of factor. Well, maybe we'll get the answer later, like how this went down.
There's a lot of surrender. Kind of reminds me of the other visual novel apps that have these sloppily done BDSM books. Like as if the writers didn't truly do research, but they're just taking the popular elements of what a BDSM story should have and putting it into a book that's not very well researched. I don't want to like put down the surrender writers because I'm still reading the book and everything, and I'll reserve my judgment until maybe a few chapters later. But it looks like because of the new player base that Choices has acquired, this type of book seems to be very popular for them. Because if you do go on YouTube, some channels are posting playthroughs for this series, and it has a lot of views already. So it seems to be like this was something that was definitely well requested by some of the player base. I'm not even surprised that it's on the app. It's because with the other, I keep saying other visual novel apps because they purely follow trends and they know that sex sells.
Yeah,
But this story is like the embodiment of that from those other apps.
yeah.
It's like a piece of chapters being brought into choices, or a piece of like taboo love episode, which is like another
Moment.
app
Yeah, the little
into
part.
choices.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I am not really, against this kind of books. I mean, yeah, I just think, like I said, the BDSM community, what they're saying, like doing a BDSM book is good, but if it is done properly, like we've been saying about the lawyer and how the whole the BDSM is approached and consent and other stuff, I think if not some people are upset with the BDSM genre, but even more people are upset with how it's done because I have read some of the Emma Jones books, and in Moments there's a book called Sicko, and there's a main character who is in love with her stepbrother, foster brother. But it is written in a way, and it also represents like sex trafficking, dark romance with a lot of issues. It at the same time talks about it deals with a lot of issues. I read a book called Honeywood in Dream Zone that is way explicit even from Dream Zone standards, but still at one point it like is sex a disease or what is it? So it addresses those issues in a way. I think these things are really important about dark romance books. I've seen these in all the sex books like Emma Jones or whoever you name it. So I think they could have upped the game. But yeah, I would say in future when they do smart books, I would really love if they follow, even if what they followed in the nanny affair. But surrender here, I would say something might have gone a bit downhill. But again, like most readers don't really know what go down in BDSM, so they're just enjoying the love interest and how it's playing out, and they're paying for it, and choices are happy. Those fans are happy, so yeah. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an
Did you
interesting.
want to say something about it, Mac?
To be honest, I know I've always been a person. Well, I said with the nanny affair, book two, and it got
Yeah.
quite a lot of likes on Twitter, and I think it was Instagram as well. Can't remember. I said, look, give a book a chance. And then what did that turn out like? Nanny affair book one. Book two. Sorry, I'm not thinking straight. That turned out not very well, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
surrender so far. I know it's only two book. Two books. See, this is how angry it's actually making me. I can't think straight or talk straight. The 4 chapters in. Sorry, and there'll be people saying, "Look, I respect both of your opinions. I can't hold off so far. I've just done with the book. I mean, obviously, people are going to say, yeah, but that's just from your personal experience with what's happened in your past life. Well, that's the point. I come to choices to get away from that, not to get it started up again or
Oh yeah.
thinking about it again. But, like, I just don't know anymore. Like I said, I'm not just going to disown choices, but
It's gonna feel, you're gonna feel hurt. I know that feeling. The cancel hero. Yeah.
I think as well. Well, before going on to talk about something else, we said this last week, didn't we, in Urban, about the fact that choices only respond to the
Oh yeah.
positive comments about it, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but like, you can carry on saying that because I'm just absolutely gone.
Oh yeah. I mean, some of the, I wouldn't say negative things, but some of the fair points they bring, like critique. Critique can be like just saying positive thing, or like what went wrong. Like they don't really respond to those. And I know this is just a social team, but they can take the questions to the writers, and they can do weekly or monthly a Q&A about, like, these are the questions that or like critique of that book or that thing, and they sort of explain that. I think they should look into that. They just reply to some things like, hey, make pop your love interest, and then like, or maybe this is really good, thank you. These kind of things. And I understand, because these are just social team, but I think they should just uh, pick some of the top comments or something like that pop up in their social media, and then like send them to the team to really go or see like how people are feeling about that work. I know it's not all the voices, but also Moments app has like an in-app chatting system, like I mean, beside the story there is a like a messaging system, and then people can comment their thoughts, so maybe they can implement into the app, so they can get the feedback from everyone, whoever opens the app. That'd be really good. That would.
It would be. And I know what you mean too, actually. Are you talking about how the Pixelberry social media team doesn't really respond to the negative comments or the critical comments
Yeah.
posts? I noticed that too, and I think it's a little fake. I think that your idea of them having a Q&A at one point, this is like what a lot of other content creators do. Like they'll take a video and make its purpose to answer these questions, the negative and positive ones. And because they just ignore any of the critical comments, they like the nice comments and they'll respond to that. But if they don't address some of those issues that the fans have, I think some of them will still keep commenting the issues that they have with choices, and it's just gonna, you'll keep seeing comments like that. I mean, there always will be people who are gonna complain under the, Pixelberry Studios Instagram posts, but I do think that it would be wise for them to at least maybe dedicate an article or blog post to discussing some common issues.
That'd be really good. I think some of the questions are really interesting, like this one. The people who are saying I'm from the BDSM community and it doesn't represent me. I mean, this is an issue. Like they should clarify it in a question, like, okay, we thought
Oh,
this or something went down. I mean, that would be a fair discussion. Yeah, you're saying something.
I'll sum it up in a few sentences. The love interest in this story has not shown any care for asking the main character what she wants. That's just it. I mean, honestly, it's. I'll read it all out in a minute, but go on. Just you say what you want to say. Sorry for putting.
I was just gonna say that. Nothing much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is alarming how different Reagan Thorne is. Even though they claim that consent is very important in the story,
Yeah.
it seems the aggressiveness level is just like at 100%. It's like rivaling how the alpha is in Wolf Bride, but kind of different, or maybe even a little worse.
I think Bastine did, or not the Bastine, like Alpha. I mean, the Alpha past chapter 3 or chapter 4, like always give us warning, like, hey, do you want to get close or not? And even if you take a diamond scene with the Alpha, they'd be like, you sure you're gonna go to? They're like warnings there with them, and like it's like on a different level there, but also that's not a single love interest book, so yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It is different in that aspect, but like what Mac was saying, it is a little disturbing, or not a little. It's disturbing how we went from, being introduced to this lawyer who was very overly eager to represent you, to later them telling you what to do, or saying stuff like no, you will do this, or if you don't do this, you won't like what will happen. It's just pretty quick.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
almost
quick.
like we didn't get a warm up yet.
Yeah. Only positive thing about Reagan Throne that I liked was his how he handled the room full of opponent lawyers and his confidence or their confidence level. That was admirable, but how they're like this love interest is approaching the main character. I mean, it would have been okay if it was a normal book, but the whole BDSM sex part that I think could go like a bit wrong, like the way this love interest is approaching. I mean, the story would be right, but like I said, a lot of people make these stories ideal because for instance, when I'm reading a book like Rising Tides, then I'm learning something from it. So when you read books like this, maybe people can fantasize like, oh, I'm going to do it in my real life. So then that would leave a really bad start for them, or it could have a bad impact in that way, or wouldn't give the right or the proper lesson into BDSM. So that's a bit.
Look. Sorry for butting in there, and I know I spoke a lot, but
I was
you know
finishing.
what? I forgot it already. For God's sake, man! It actually makes me disangry. I think Anirban's never seen me disangry, and what a way to start talking to somebody new, and I'm like this. God, this is not going to leave a good mark. But like I said, I mean, I think what they irked me, and we talked about this as well again last week. I think it's like she's just gone through, seen her husband or wife or whatever you're into. That's fine. It doesn't bother me. Go through something, what you're trying to force onto us. It's like oh, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you, in Nearban and Astra? It's like she's just gone through something traumatic of seeing their partner go do being, just doing stuff like that. But then, how's that making it any better? If that, it doesn't make any sense. It's like me with the choices thing. It's like I come from choices to get away from what this book is trying to say. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just.
Oh yeah, I see what you're getting at. I mean,
Yeah.
you're trying to say that if that, like my partner betrays me or with something like BDSM, and I see that and I get shocked, then it should be really a place of trauma to me, like to mention it, or like, yeah, it's a bit, unclear there. Yeah, yeah, I understand what you're talking
Yeah. I'm honestly, I want to talk about the Queen Bee or something. I'd probably be a lot more lenient. But this book is a dumpster trash so far. And look, I know what people are going to say, and I'll stop talking about it now. They'll say, yeah, but you need to give it time. I don't want to give it time. If I mean, no, I'm not going to probably read it anymore. To be honest with you, just I was intrigued to see what it'd be like, but because I've been
about. Oh
through
yeah,
something like that myself, and it's like
yeah,
and that is not how it's represented. Fine, no bloody way, man. There's got to be consent there. There isn't consent.
yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah. That's
Get
okay.
out of my bloody app, you piece of.
Yeah, you can definitely not like the book. I mean, it's just completely like it's your opinion, like you said before. So that goes with, like I've seen like people not loving a particular love interest. So that's okay. You don't like it. I mean, you don't have to like it if you don't like it. In a similar way, maybe someone really likes it and they like it. It's just it's sharing opinion. That's about it. It's like choices. Like you don't have to really like it, or like you can like another thing. So yeah, that's perfect. You just share your opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. And if someone says I like it and this is the perfect BDSM book, I mean, yeah, that's probably that, because like I said, it's really apparent. It's like everything. It's just relative, because it's just how you see it. And so far, like you are seeing, my perspective kind of aligns with you here. That I don't think it's a good representation, but like you said, it's what you think about it. You pay for it, what you think for it, and someone else may really in love with it. I mean, there are a lot of people, of course. I mean, and it is like you said, there's nothing
Look,
wrong with either side. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. I mean, I personally have the that you have.
look. It's actually making me cry here because of what I've been through before, and it's like talking. I honestly can't think straight. Sorry about this. It's just making me absolutely go. I
Yeah, no
don't
worries.
know.
You know, yeah, we can definitely like go to another topic instead. Since I know you definitely like don't really like that series, and your points are very valid. And anyone who tells you that you're not allowed to have an opinion on that, that's not true.
I think. Look, to end off on that note, it's funny, but you should say that actually, not in a bad way, because a neighbour can actually back me up on this. I said I didn't like Shipwrecked, and I know a neighbour does, and I'm not trying to say this, because we've discussed this before, haven't we? Saying, look, we respect both of each other's opinions. And I said, look, the love interest in that book wasn't my cup of tea, say, as the Brits would say here, English people say. It's not my cup of tea. She wasn't my cup of tea, say. And I said, look, I put an interest out saying, look, she says, I said something along the lines of, oh, she says she has boundaries up and just stuff like that. And I said, and then somebody commented on that and put it on the story saying, oh, you should, if you don't like a book, don't read it. You're shitting on, sorry for swearing, but you're shitting on other people liking it. I was like, excuse me, like, am I allowed to have an opinion? And the vendor said, "Oh, you probably like all these steamer books. I don't like all these steamer books." And then the funniest thing is, I saw the same person go on the surrender post, say, "Oh, I can't wait to look forward to this book." Like, what? It, it, it honestly baffles me with this community. To be honest, it's like I saw somebody else say on the post, and right now I can have a look at it, and they said, "Oh, people if you don't like the book, don't read it. I quite like it." And then somebody said, "Oh, it's a good book." Well, yeah, it's a good book, but you've just literally on it. Right, okay, that's it. I'm fine now. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? But,
You know, when people tell you to not read a book just because you have a criticism about it, there's no point in saying that. You know, we can all read the Choices book regardless of whether or not we like it. And because we do that because maybe we hope that the book will be a little bit better later. So anytime someone is offended
Can
that
you
you
hear me?
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
can
got it.
hear you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Um, I think that it's not that there doesn't seem to be a point in telling people to not read a book just because they have a criticism with it. So I think those people who are telling you this need to recognize that it's perfectly okay to voice your criticism about a book publicly without having to be told don't read it or
Yeah,
don't look at the book if you don't like it.
yeah,
We all have opinions.
I know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really disagree and can still respect each other, or can have respectful debates. I mean, I used to watch these two great guys, Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo. Like they debated about a topic, but they kept a friendly relation. It's just we will disagree. We are not going to agree on everything. Like you said, if it was not for that particular Manu in Surrender, because it's a single love interest book, I probably wouldn't have felt that much connection to the book, because it's still mainly around the love interest for 80% part. So yeah, it's good. It's your point. Like, there are some books like I don't really get along with other book, but some people get. It's just, you may like something, I may not like something. That's okay. I see, and there's a point. I mean, from my perspective, and I can never understand. Like, I remember this time someone said like they don't really like Bastille, and they like went on and on why they did not. I, from my perspective, felt a different Bastille, and then we just talked it, and I was interested to see like what they felt about not liking that character. So I think, it is like, it's not like, oh, you don't like it. It's just, they didn't like it, perhaps, but they have their own reason, or they saw it from a different perspective. I saw it from a different perspective, and same goes for like same things. So yeah, I mean, we can all not like a book or not like a character, or like hate, but we can definitely give our opinions respectfully, and then, like, it's just like have a conversation. It's totally okay, and even debate about it with that right mind.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with you. It's a very good point. We should be able to voice our opinions without having to worry about having like a comment war under a post. Because
Yeah.
you end up seeing that sometimes. Like, for example, one of the recent ones about the love interest contest.
About the favorite love interest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw some people like, some of the Camila lovers were really going hard on Ethan for no reason, and for some people were going on for, like, someone said, call me law. I mean, I was like, yeah, it's totally unnecessary. I mean, I just skipping through the comments. I mean, it's just about favorite love interest. Tell your favorite love interest name. Talk about them. You don't need to really talk about the other persons. Yeah, maybe you can say like they're overrated or something, but calling them names like, giraffe or something, or call me law and stuff, that's just pointless. I mean, what would you do that? They're not even real person.
Yep. And I think I know who you meant by giraffe, but I'm not going to say anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a pretty common nickname for him.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, that's funny. I mean, yeah, I mean, like, like, yeah, maybe you are describing that character when the chapter was released, and that's understandable. But under a post of favorite love interest, that's just, that means that that person lives, or that character lives rent free on your head. I mean, that's just really childish. But yeah, anyway, that's just, I thought it funny. I thought it was funny that someone would say like that.
Yeah, I thought that the comments were kind of interesting. I like to look at it because when I saw the top three, King Liam, what was the other one? Ethan, Ramsey,
Ramsey?
and Camila.
Camilla.
Yeah, when I saw them three as the winners, I was a bit surprised, but I think it makes a lot of sense because there are a lot of Ethan fans out there, and The Royal Romance is one of the most popular books
Yeah.
on the Choices app, so it
I,
makes sense. I'm
I was
glad that Camila was there because there really doesn't seem to be a lot of recognition for the female love interest. So I was really pleasantly surprised to see that, and I'm glad that that she did have a lot of
yeah,
fans,
Yeah.
more than I thought.
yeah, she won.
I
I
think to
thought,
add on that as well. Like, sorry. I think I do agree with that because it's like the way Pixelberry do treat the female love interest. It's good to see. Look, I'm going to tell you both now. I'm not particularly keen on Camilla. She wasn't my love interest, but I do respect that. It's good to see that she was actually in there because based on how the fact that Pixelberry actually treat the female love interest, which is a totally different topic to what we're talking about at the moment. But like, yeah, it's great to see that there's actually. I mean, to add on that as well, it's like I was expecting it just to be on males, like honestly, but it's like Astra said, it is amazing to see that Camilla was actually up there. I mean, personally, like I said, she's not my cup of tea, but yeah, it's good to see that.
mm, I
Yeah, I know
actually
it made
thought,
me proud.
yeah, go on.
Oh no, no, you're fine. So the other reason why I was very happy to see Camila there was because sometimes there's certain parts of the Choices fan base that does unfairly criticize the female love interests because they just don't want to see them in the books or they don't really want them there. So they have they have extra criticisms for them just because they're not attracted to them. But it doesn't have to do with attraction. Like it's just Camila as a wonderful character herself. So I've seen people complain about Morgan and Ava Lawrence and many other female love interests. So that's why I'm glad to see that Camila is getting some respect and recognition because she is definitely a phenomenal love interest. She's like on her own level.
Hmm. I think if the silent majority was involved, it would have been a complete different game. I mean, it would have been between Sam and, I mean, Sam got a. I mean, I was surprised to not see Sam. I was like, how it is a battle of favorite love interest. There is no Sam. I mean, the chances of Sam winning was the highest because there is male Sam and female Sam, and I mean, I don't see a single person in fandom who is not like there are a lot of people liking. So that was a shocker for me. Like Sam wasn't there and Liam was there. Who? But and anyway, also I haven't played Bloodbound and the Royal Romance, so I don't really know about their popularity. But yeah, I thought Sam would be there. That was a shocker.
Yeah.
But again,
Hmm.
when I play any book, I usually would not discredit a love interest because of their gender, but I would just see, yeah, sometimes some love interest, I think, even if we don't accept them as love interests, but we can be friends when they become good allies. So I think, like if the love interest is just female, and if you don't romance females, then discrediting them, it's just again the right thing to do because their love interest, like almost in every book where you have multiple love interests, even if you choose one, the other love interests are your really good friends. And sometimes I think I would have killed to get those kind of friends in real life, like Adam in most America's Most Eligible or Mackenzie. Those kind of friends. I mean, you can't hate those characters.
No.
Yeah, yeah, I love that view of that. Even if you're not going to romance a certain character, it doesn't mean that you have to bash them on bash them publicly or say that, oh, this love interest shouldn't be here, or I'm not attracted to females, so I'm going to complain about this character. And that was kind of the vibe that I've been seeing for certain books, especially like Wolf Bride. There was a lot of complaints about Morgan,
But that's a different
and
ballgame.
I feel like that wasn't really needed. Like instead of the hatred for the character, how about like you realize that this could potentially be like a friend
Yeah, I
character.
know. I
That's
know.
how
There's a
I look.
lot of from Mason from the
It's
boy
not
next
nice
door.
whatever.
Mighty first lows. I know that. Did you say?
I said, yeah, it's almost up to an hour.
Oh yeah, we will. We will. Yeah. So do you have? Do you guys? Do either of you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think what we were just going on about, I think a good example of that is probably Liam from the Royal Romance. I think when he,
King.
yes, yes, when he tries to, have you read this yet?
Nope.
Oh, okay,
I
I'm not
have.
sure. Sorry, no, no.
I'm not planning to say you're not gonna spoil it. I mean,
Basically,
I'm not gonna read for 900, 9, 8, 10 books. I mean, that's just a
yeah,
really big series.
yeah. I think look, we do go to there to how would I explain this? Go there to try and win him. He proposes to us, but we fall in love with somebody else. And when you tell him this, he does take it a bit hard. But is your friend after he was not a horrible character after that. He could have been, but when you rejected him, he was the calmest person in the world when you did it, and that's why I respect him. Look, I know I'm gonna say this again. He wasn't my favorite, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a good character for the rest of the books. So I think that's another example of it. To be honest, yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that seeing the characters that take the rejection very well. When you say that, it reminds me of a certain series where you had to reject the other love interests and make your choice, and it was so awkward.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. I remember
yeah,
saying like Parker was like, "Hey, dude," like I was like, ah. Then I had to choose him because it was so sad. Just it's like choice is emotionally blackmail us when they set up certain character to tell us their feelings.
Yeah, it does feel like that actually, and it's also like that when it comes to the cute animals or puppies that you get to save. That's the emotional. They're playing on our emotional
yeah.
part. Hopefully, that we're gonna be, adopting this cute animal or save them. It's kind of like that too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep. For that time, we're just gonna have to channel that Gordon Ramsay energy into us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, do you still have anything to add, or like we can end and join back to for the imposter game? Though the audio is really good, but still, don't take. Let's not take any risk.
No, I don't think it's worth it.
Oh,
Astra.
well, if you would like, the second part can be the imposter game, but I do believe we have some topics such as top books and love interest issues and Queen Bee book two information. I'm not sure if you wanted to also discuss the favorite villains, or if you would like, we could just do the imposter game next.
I think, to be honest, I'm up for probably talking about Queen Bee as well. I mean, obviously it's up to an earband, but obviously it's his podcast. But I'd be up for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean
Okay.
that would be good. So let's talk about Queen Bee then here, and then when I end it, we will do the imposter game separately. How about that?
Yeah, I think that'd be
That
better.
sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I don't think we're going to cover all the topics. I mean, sure we can, but it will probably like about 11-hour record or something. So I
What?
think there will be some things left.
I don't want to record for 11 hours. It's already, what, 3:30 for me in the afternoon. I'm tired.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's get started with Queen Bee then.
I forgot what happens. Which chapter are we actually talking about?
We missed two chapters. Last week
Uh,
I was sick. We didn't talk about that. And this week's
yeah.
chapter. So I think chapter 11 and chapter 12, as far as I remember. So the one where we get Lexi and the one where we get that. We play that game, like bottle spinning or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. These two chapters.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
Pit stain.
What do I remember?
Pit stain. Oh my god, that's like that is such an embarrassing nickname. I can see why that character is just angry 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah. That character was interesting. So I felt like chapter 11. Let's talk about first. It was the first chapter after a long time in book two when we get an actual scene with Veronica, and even if we choose to get a scene with Celine, we can get that scene. So and even with Carter. So a lot of people were wanting a scene with them. So for them, there was a scene, and even we get to kiss, various people like Ford or like there was an option in that spin the bottle game. I think, and specifically the scene with Veronica. I mean, Veronica's on the poster, but she's been MIA throughout the book. Instead, finally, we get to have a scene with Veronica. We had a couple of scenes with Veronica in book one, but this is the first time in book two.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that about it too. It was a pretty fun chapter. Like it was like the party chapter basically. Um, I thought it was kind of funny. I remembered how Celine, when she went to the party, I I believe there was a character that commented on like, "Are you able to handle this kind of game?" And then she just suddenly killed Liam like right away to prove that she's not a coward or something. So there's definitely a different side to Celine than we would think.
Yeah.
Definitely. Celine is a wild card there. And then
In more
the
ways than one.
chapter. Yeah, what?
In more ways than one.
Yeah. And then the chapter ends with the professor is getting expelled because the video was out. Someone shot a video of our main character getting intimate with our professor or is talking, I guess, inside Magdermort's. And then the chapter 12 where we plot revenge and we get to know about Lexi and also the Royal Romance cameo. Maxwell and
Yep.
Bertrand, they can come there, and it was a big chapter there.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah. And you chose the right options, Astra, because when we needed to tell something to Zoe, so Zoe can feed those wrong informations to Lexi for the tour. And I think there was something like Apple, like something, and I was like, probably Apple is the right option because with Cordonia and something, but it was the wrong option.
Yeah, because earlier in chapter 12, when the main character was scheming with Zoe, they basically just decided to sabotage Lexi's museum tour. I think that's what it is about, like the Beaumont family. And I remember they did say something like how they would prefer to have sparkling wine. So I thought it was kind of funny how we got to have that mission to just screw Lexi over. Basically, she's probably one of my least favorite Queen Bee characters. She's
Yeah.
like a villain, but like an angry puppy kind of villain.
Yeah. Yeah, but let's talk about that. In the hit list. I mean, what?
I think.
Yeah, go on.
So I was just going to say, I think Lexi was probably going to be one of the most obvious ones on the hit list, if I'm honest. Not just based off the name.
Yeah, but whether you love Lexi, I mean, you gotta admit that pose Lexi makes on the hit list. I mean, that is. I mean, I find it funny, and it's just like a drama. It gives a hint of like wow, you can probably tell like there's a lot of drama with that. Like that pose with
Yeah.
her cheeks are she's pressing her cheeks with her palms and like that pose. I mean,
Lexi's
I
a ghost.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So I think one more member left in the hit list, and then the main villain, the X, the D.
Yep.
So
Oh, sorry, I'm going to say something, but I'm not.
yeah,
I think to add on that, I think in my opinion, I think it's quite obvious who it is.
who?
I'm not saying. I honestly, personally don't think it's Sally or whatever her name is. or Persephine,
Yeah.
as people are saying. The certain character I'm talking about is actually. Oh no, I can't, I'm going to use that for the imposter game, so I can't say it now. God's sake. I honestly think it's the Dean.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
just, it's just.
it's weird though. It's an implication that the dean is petty and trying to get involved in college drama. But who knows? Maybe it is really the dean, or maybe we're supposed to think it's the dean, but it really isn't.
Mm.
So I don't know yet, but I'm very curious to see what's going on in the
Who
next
is?
chapter.
Yeah, and also there is someone who we're going to swing in our favor. There's going to be one last hit list member who's going to
I
work for us, and I think it's going to be a diamond scene where we sway that member in our favor, and he's going to be, or she, I think it's, or whatever,
I
they're going to be main ally against X. Yeah, go on.
I isn't it supposed to be this hacker girl who's on the hit list as well?
Yeah, I think they said about some hacker
Yeah,
girl. We
yeah,
will
because we
see
haven't seen her
the
so far. But I don't think Sailing's bright enough to do something like hacking, but
Who knows? I don't trust anything after Duffy.
yeah, I don't trust
Dusty,
Sailing after what she said to her. She tried to throw us under the bus. Like what? From
yeah,
all sweet and innocent, sorry, to say, oh look at this, she's hiding something. What? Oh yeah,
I
she's
mean,
definitely different. She's different than what I would think she is. She has a hidden side to her.
yeah. I mean, Celine, what she did, like, I think I would do that in her position because even if I'm innocent, because if a lot of people are blaming me, then I would just look for someone like, hey, why then you're not blamed because you don't have much to say anyway. So yeah, but Celine did seem suspicious when in the
yeah,
auction thing, like she said,
yeah.
all of her auction stuff was stolen, but we don't know yet if she had the stuff of the auction to begin with. So yeah,
Yeah.
That's a mystery too. Because there wasn't really much context on like what item she had. I don't even think that it was even shown to us in that chapter. Just that she said she had it and that it got stolen. So I thought that was a bit strange too. And then in the same chapter, how she was like crying after she realized everything was gone. It looked like to me that she was trying to get sympathy, to get more
Yep.
donations. I could be wrong, but it did give off that vibe to me that Celine has a secret dark side and that she does know how to manipulate or get her way.
Yep.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
If she is the X, because if she is X, I mean, because a lot of people said she's X from the very first chapter because she was a new face introduced right at the beginning, and that would be
Definitely
interesting.
wasn't me.
What'd you
Yeah,
say?
definitely wasn't me. But that definitely wasn't me who thought it was Saline who was exited the first time I saw her. Nothing. That definitely wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
But yeah,
Poppy's
sorry.
still in the race. So what is she
I know.
doing here? I mean, she's not like
What
she's
is
a
she
main
even
contender.
doing in the book? Sorry, I don't like her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely missing in the action too. But we'll have to see how that works
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Oh, are you talking about how Poppy was added to the competition?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also like how Poppy is not like a real threat, or like Poppy is not doing even anything for the competition at this point, but still on the competition list.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. I thought that after that party where she got humiliated, that
Yeah.
she was gonna be removed from the
Mm.
competition and that it would be going back to Queen Bee versus X. So I think it adds a little bit of drama. I think it's a little interesting that Poppy's there, but she's probably not gonna win, in my opinion, anyway. But I thought that she was working with X and that she was pretending to be sabotaged by X, but maybe that's not the case.
Yeah. Perhaps I have a passing thought that what if, like, say we reveal X and all the drama goes down, and right at the end moment, just like Rebecca, Poppy becomes that person like who ultimately takes the like a final revenge and pins down on our main character, like as the like probably she was just lurking around the corner, and when we get X down, then she takes the opportunity and does something like sabotaging or something and wins the race, or like a drama happens at the end. What would happen? Like, I don't know if that's possible, but like since how lately she's been missing in action, I mean that just makes me wonder if she's going to be like Rebecca or Duffy.
Wow,
Yeah, me too.
that would
It's
be
different, and even with Veronica, she doesn't seem to be there as often as she
No,
was before. Her and
yeah.
Poppy.
as well to add on that. Sorry, like you just said in here, man. I think I know a better example of that. Like Martin from Laws of Attraction.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. A lot of people are saying Martin and Poppy, they're like kindred souls.
Yeah. Hmm,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Yeah, Martin, he's very interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean that clap, 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 clap can again happen.
I thought it was honestly. I kid you's not about just doing something on that quickly. I honestly thought the book was over. I thought, oh, there we go. I've ended all. Obviously, I couldn't hear it because it's a book. But like, I thought, no, what's this? As soon as I saw it, his face pop up on the screen. I said, "What the hell are you doing now?" I, I think there's a bit more of a mystery to that as well. I don't think he did pay off that all himself. Not one bit. Something helped him with that. But yeah, I think
I was
I honestly believe what you said about what Poppy. I haven't personally seen this myself, heard or seen about it myself, but I can actually probably see this now. Waits until the bigger threat is out, per se, and then she comes in. If
yeah,
she does, then that would just be
yeah,
wow.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. But for you two, who do you think X could be in this last
Oh,
member?
no.
Last member?
You
I honestly
mean
think
who do you think is the last person on the X list, or or are you asking us who do you think X is?
Yeah, who do you think the last person on the hit list, and who do you think X is? Like,
Hmm. You go first.
I honestly think
it's the best Uno reverse
I
card.
kind of know because I've seen this. I didn't mean to see the thingy. I'm not going to say where it is, and about the new thing what's as well. But it's got to be this hacker girl. Like honestly, I'm not. This is it is. I think it is the hacker girl because she was mentioned. It's like where is she? It's like 13 chapters in. But obviously, the next chapter we will definitely find out on Wednesday. But who I think X is, to me, in my opinion, it's possibly a red herring. I know it's going to be a red herring. I just got a gut feeling. I honestly think it's the Dean. I just every time something happens to us per se, like in the first chapter, as soon as they come out of the room, got a message. The one with the drug thing, she instantly sent us an email about the other one what happened in the latest chapter. I mean, it's to me, it's just too obvious. It is just too obvious of who it is. If it's not that person, then the Dean, then I've just said, oh, this was nothing. But honestly, to me, I think it's the Dean.
Oh, interesting. I
Is she
think
bright enough to do it? Probably not. Is she too old to do something like this and speak the way the X is? Probably not.
nope.
But,
Yeah, man. I mean, if she is the X, then she learned a lot of, like she studied the Urban
but
Dictionary in overnight.
I will add on that as well. You said this to me the other day in Urban, didn't you?
Yeah.
You said to me, you gave me a reality check. You said to me, and I've just laughed at myself. I thought, you idiot, Macaulay, And I was like, you said, how can it be the Dean? I thought, what do you mean? It's obvious. It's like, Yeah, but they said you're going to take my rightful place. I thought I didn't think of that. I actually the one who saw that, didn't I, Nib? And I told
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I
You
thought,
said.
well, that's just gone out of the window now, isn't it? So it's like, yeah. Go
Yeah, it's just interesting like, how it could be Dean. I still think the last person is gonna be Persephone Dalton. Who we are going to appoint to our side, and who is going to be our ally. And as for X, I think it's Selene, but we'll see.
Well, isn't
Oh,
Celine Persephone? That's what everybody says.
No, Selene. I mean, I don't know how that can be possible. I mean, she has to have go through she has to go through like she has to have a plastic surgery, otherwise how can no one recognize Persephone Dalton if Persephone Dalton is Celine? Because how can one change one's appearance or face that much in 2 years? Yeah, 10
Oh,
years probably all right, but
money can change anything. So,
yeah.
but,
well,
That
but
that reminds me, a friend of mine. We were chatting about Celine and saying we were wondering if she got plastic surgery to disguise
oh, good
who
god.
she is, and I think that would be a very interesting plot twist because we haven't really had a character. I don't think of it. I don't know of a Choices character that has had plastic surgery to fool us.
Nope.
So I think if that was the case here, that would be that would be a first for Choices. I don't know if that's the case, but I think it would be crazy if it turns out that Celine got plastic surgery to infiltrate Belvoir.
Then she has to be the X. I mean, come on, like that's a big thing. I mean, if she's going through plastic surgery, then she has to be the main villain.
Yeah, for sure. Because she's definitely, if that's what's happening, then she's definitely going through. She's doing all this stuff, or being really extra just to continue this revolution against the elites or whatever, or the top 15. Um, but I have a feeling that even though Celine is very suspicious, she has some sort of involvement with X. I'm not sure what it is now, but for some reason, to me, it's pointing towards the dean.
yeah,
But it doesn't make sense because the dean doesn't
no,
write like millennials
exactly.
or younger people do. So maybe she hired someone, or maybe because she has a team, they write the
Fine.
post for her. I don't even know, but
Yes,
she does
I.
seem to be like she has some sort of hidden feelings towards the elite. But it doesn't make sense because she's literally the dean. So
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling that she's definitely a part of it.
Yeah, now when you say the plastic surgery, I think of a crazy theory that what if the dean is like the classic revenge plot? Someone's life got destroyed because of Poppy or the crazy system in Belvoir. Maybe it could be when Dean was of our age and when she studied in the college, or maybe because someone close to Dean, like Dean's niece or Dean's daughter or granddaughter,
yep.
they had something bad happening to them. And what if Persephone Dalton is the person, and like they went through a plastic surgery and they're now Celine, and whatever Dean is doing is for
Yeah,
Celine. And even though Dean is the ex, so like you said, Celine is the one helping, and that's the motive. I mean, if that kind of thing happens, then it's going to be super crazy. And wow, I mean, I would love that. I mean, at this point, I'm more interested in the motive of X than
yep,
who X is.
yep.
Yeah, exactly. Because isn't Queen Bee known as the queen of the people compared to what Poppy was? Poppy
Yeah.
was known as like the demon of of the school, and a lot of people didn't actually truly like her. But then Queen Bee Bay was supposed, or I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. The default name, I chose Regina for her.
Regina.
And yeah, and so I'll just say Regina. But I got the sense that she was more respected than Poppy was, and that she's kind of like more relatable. So it, I am very interested to see what the actual intentions are that X has because it doesn't look like Regina's really problematic compared to what Poppy was.
Yeah.
Because Poppy was actually destroying people's lives, as seen in book one. But Regina, she wasn't trying to do that to the regular students like Poppy was. So I'm
X is not.
interested to see why X a um, has this revenge plot against Queen Bee, but it seems like they're also going to be going after Poppy. Um, I think I'm also just as interested to see who it is and why they chose to do it. But right now, as of right now, I think the dean has some sort of vendetta against Queen Bee
Yeah.
because the timing of her emails is really suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well to add on that, didn't we get the email before we even walked out? Just before we walked out of the doors, it's like what? It's like it does not make sense. But yeah,
Fingers crossed. Let's see who X
yeah,
is and who that minion is. Last minion.
yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting to find out.
Yeah, this Queen Bee book two. Although some fans are not very happy with it, I'm very happy so far with what I'm seeing. It's a very different vibe than the first book. It's like the competition has turned up so much, and now there's two other rivals, Poppy and X.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really cool format that they have for Queen Bee. It reminds me of Pretty Little Liars, and when it comes to that mystery aspect
Oh yeah.
and the
Got a
fact that
secret gatekeeper.
people are
Yeah.
being spied on. I do like it a lot. It seems like the drama level in Queen Bee one it was pretty good, but now the drama level is like 10 times higher right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting at this point. Let's see what happens next. I mean, can't wait to
Yep.
find out who X is and what all those minions are.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, anything else to add, or we can go to the imposter game? All right.
I don't think I do.
Astra, anything else?
Well, I'm fine with going to the imposter game. Um, it, I think we pretty much did discuss like most of what we were gonna talk about. So I think we're pretty good right now. But if
Yeah, I
you would
know
like,
there.
we could start the imposter game and maybe
Yeah,
take like a break possibly and then start it.
yeah, that'd be good. I know, like there are still few topics left, but if we go in them, I think we'll not have much time for the imposter game. And I'm pretty excited to hear what you guys have written up and what you guys have planned for the imposter game. So yeah, I'm just excited to go into there. So I think that would be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that plan. That's
Okay,
good.
so you said about a break. So how long do you want? Like 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Like when do you want to resume it?
Whenever.
Very good question. What about you, Mac? Like, what break length are you okay with?
Honestly, I'm from Britain, so I can't go out anywhere because I've literally raining right now. I'm literally doing literally nothing, so I'm literally up for anything. If you want to have a 5 minute break, have a 5 minute break. I'm fine with anything.
Okay, well, I'm thinking probably like just 10 minutes, and then we can go back to um the episode and then do the imposter game. I think that'd be good. Let me know if that's fine with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
With anything.
or- yeah, so 10 minutes it is. Okay, all right. So just text me on Instagram and then we'll resume with the imposter game.
Yep.
Cool. That sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good
All
to
right,
me.
so see you in 10 minutes. Take care.
Right,
Yeah, you too, guys. Take care.
right.
Thanks.
Thank you.